In the past few weeks, our readings in Psalms have been extolling the wonder of the God-created universe, continually evolving and expanding, and illustrated last week in a video showing that incredible immensity of planets and galaxies that was placed in contrast to our oh-so-small little planet Earth that's our home. Today, our psalm is the flip side of that, intimate, personal, as we hear that great God's voice, personified as a human, making a plea with humanity, not to do more to connect with him, but to come and to be. And as you listen, maybe you'll hear the aching and deep desire that God has for his people to be present with him, much like our homework assignment of spending time phoneless in nature and becoming aware in that silence that whatever's happening, whatever we fear, it's still a beautiful world. Psalm 50. The Lord, the mighty one, is God, and he has spoken. He has summoned all humanity from where the sun rises to where it sets. From Mount Zion, the perfection of beauty, God shines in glorious radiance. O my people, listen as I speak. Here are my charges against you, O Israel. I am God, your God. I have no complaint about your sacrifices or the burnt offerings you constantly offer, but I do not need the bulls from your barns or the goats from your pens, for all the animals of the forest are mine, and I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. I know every bird in the mountains, and all the animals of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell you, for all the world is mine and everything in it. Do I eat the meat of bulls? Do I drink the blood of goats? Make thankfulness your sacrifice to God, and keep the vows you made to the Most High. Then call on me when you're in trouble, and I will rescue you, and you will give me glory. The word of God for us today.
Give thanks and praise it. 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 Give thanks and praise. Thanks and praises to the Most High. Give thanks and praises. He is so high. Oh, take the veil off of your eyes. Look to the future. You will realize glory to Jah, the prophet is come. Glory to Jah, the prophet has come. So guide and protect I and I, oh Jah. So guide and protect I and I, oh Jah. Oh, holy is His name. Holy, holy is His name. If Jah didn't love I, if Jah didn't love I, would I be around today? Would I be around to say, give thanks and praises, thanks and praises, oh my God, thanks and praises, give thanks and praises. That song that we just sang this morning as a solo is a happy, feel-good tune entitled, obviously, Give Thanks and Praises. And if you didn't suss it out already, it will come as no surprise to you that the writer and original singer of this song was none other than Bob Marley. We tried the best we could. This is a real hard act to do his music for white folk, just to be honest with you. Marley is one of the most recognizable musical figures of the 20th century. And I mean that in almost every way possible. Those dreadlocks, his Jamaican patois accent, lifting and rhythmic in both his singing and his speech, that gazillion-dollar smile. And of course, there are the songs, reggae songs. Three Little Birds, known also as Everything Gonna Be Alright. I Shot the Sheriff, a hit for him and then later also for Eric Clapton. Buffalo Soldier, Redemption Song, One Love, which was a reworking of Curtis Mayfield's People Get Ready. Marley is a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Posthumously, he received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. His album Exodus was called the Album of the Century by Time Magazine. Rolling Stone ranked him as number 11 on their list of the greatest artists of all time. The BBC named his song One Love the song of the millennium, an extraordinary honor considering 1,000 years of music. And consistently, he remains one of the best-selling musical artists in the world. Millions upon millions of his records have been bought and sold over the years, and they continue to sell for the generations that follow. And then there is his humanitarian work. He received the United Nations Peace Medal while he was still living, recognizing his ongoing aid to African nations. And today his family foundation continues to provide assistance and grants to organizations and individuals to the tune of $10 million a year. This is an extraordinary man with an extraordinary career, especially when one considers he was born in a wayside village of less than a couple hundred people who had a neglectful and abusive father. And when his father died, his mother was forced to move Bob and herself to a Kingston ghetto to survive. That tough upbringing stayed with Bob Marley his entire life. He was hardscrabble, always on the side of the poor, the marginalized, the colonized. He was radical, fearsome in his protests against governments, white supremacy, unbridled capitalism, ecological homicide, and the rank abuses of corporations. We don't hear too much about that side of Bob Marley these days because the very forces that he opposed, the machine that he resisted, has learned to make a lot of money off of Bob Marley and his image. That said, I can still recommend to you the bioptic of his life, a movie appropriately entitled One Love from 2024. It stars Kingsley Ben-Adir as Bob Marley and follows his life from upstart musician until his death in 1981 at the young age of 36 years old. I might not live to see 56 if we can't turn the air down just a little bit. And that's another recognizable fact about the man. He died young. In 1977, he was diagnosed with melanoma, skin cancer under the nail of his right big toe. He refused amputation or any other traditional treatment, sought alternative medicine instead. It was to no avail. The cancer became metastatic, spread unabated throughout his body. He died in Miami while trying to get home to Jamaica one last time. One of the reasons he refused an early amputation and traditional medicine was because of his religious beliefs. Another recognizable thing about the man. Bob Marley was a Rastafarian. Marley's mother raised him in the Catholic Church. As he came of age, he considered that to be, quote, a white man's religion and not his. And while he would be baptized into the Orthodox Church shortly before his death, in between those was Rasta. What in the world is Rastafarianism? Dreadlocks, marijuana, and reggae? Yeah, that's a lot of it, but there's a lot more. It is a spiritual resistance movement native to Jamaica. Scholars regard it as both a religion and a social construct. Rastas use the same Bible as Christians, the Jewish Scriptures, and the New Testament, believing them to be holy and inspired. They revere Jesus as the Savior while also mixing elements of Judaism and Christianity. They are mystics seeking union with God now and in eternity, and they refer to God as Jah. And that's nothing especially controversial. Jah is the patois accented pronunciation of Jehovah, God as revealed in the Old Testament. When Bob Marley sang about Jah, and he did that a lot, he was referring to the God of his understanding, but it's the same God that Jews and Christians sing about as well, though our understanding of God would not be the same as Marley's. But here is one thing we can agree on. Marley understood God, Jah, to be kind, benevolent, gracious, the truest expression of love in the world. He understood God to be spirit, one who must be sought in spirit and in truth. He understood God to be the one in whom all things live, breathe, move, and have their being. He understood God to be the source of all blessing, all good and beautiful things, all redemption and salvation. Thus, the only appropriate and necessary human response to such a good God is a response of thanksgiving, gratitude, appreciation, and praise. Give thanks and praises to the Most High. Give thanks and praises. He is so high. Oh, take that veil from off of your eyes. So guide and protect I, O Jah. If Jah did not love I, would I be around today? If Jah didn't love I, would I be around to say, give thanks and praises to the Most High? Now, I'm not attempting to convert anyone into being a Rastafarian today. But I am using this reggae song and Bob Marley's words to draw your attention to the most appropriate and needed way to live your life. And it is simple. Live a life of gratitude. Live a life of thanksgiving. Live a life of ready praise to God for all the blessings you have received. That's Bob Marley's message. That's the message of Psalm 50. That's the message of every spiritual master who has ever lived. God really doesn't need anything from you. I don't know if you caught that in Anna's reading today. You bring me all these sacrifices. That's all well and good. But since I already own those things, I really don't need them from you. And this is a real surprise to religious people, but often in the Bible it seems that God, especially Christ, just is not very interested in our religion. But what God is interested in is bringing to Him our gratitude, our thanksgiving. In the words of Meister Eckhart, if the only prayer you ever prayed in your entire life was thank you, that prayer would be enough. 6 weeks ago, I began this springtime series within the book of Psalms. These are the readings from the Psalms as directed by the Revised Common Lectionary. And I've been delighted with the readings for a couple of reasons. First, they are as timely and as applicable as ever. They have held up well, remaining powerful, fresh, appropriate, and showing very little of their age, that age being, in some cases, more than 3 millennia old. And second, I just love how the composers of the lectionary arranged these psalms in this particular order. They have all been about the greatness and goodness of God, God's power, God's guidance, God's superiority, and then over the last couple of weeks, God's creation. Look out at that natural world and you'll be astounded by what you see. And when you realize the amazing supernatural God behind the natural world, you are forced to acknowledge God's incredible, wondrous nature all the more. And then, right on time, you find yourself, in light of all the glory, grateful for the life that you have been blessed with. This is a study that is backed up at both UCLA and the University of Michigan. These schools conducted long, multiple experiments addressing human attitude and temperament. And let's say, we'll just do this today here. Let's say that I divide those of you in this room into 2 groups, and I'll expand it further and include our online audience as group number 3. So, those to my left, you are group 1. Remember your assignment. Those to my right, you are group 2. And those who are watching and listening online, you are group 3. Now, I have to digress a moment. Last Sunday, our online service was throttled off by Facebook. Within 4 or 5 minutes after 10 a.m., we were knocked offline due to, quote, the broadcasting of inappropriate content. I think we were being accused of running a cyberspace peep show or broadcasting an adult website. When I discovered this after the service, my first reaction was, what did we sing in the first 5 minutes? Because we'll sing anything that got us flagged. But the only thing that I could come up with, if there was a phrase, neon signs. That's as close to anything that we could get. And maybe that caused the AI overlords within Meta platforms to freak out. My second reaction was, what exactly are Bobby and Garrett doing back there in the sound booth, in the control room? But as usual, they're harmless. And then I realized that if one spends a couple of Sundays pushing back against our technological world and overreach and calling out social media and Facebook by name, as I have done over the last couple of Sundays, that just maybe the bots and the big brother do not take kindly to that. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Anyway, our apologies, but it was all beyond our control. We received an email Sunday afternoon that their AI-generated review process had indeed made a mistake. But by then, it was neither here nor there, and the damage was done for the day. Anyway, if you're out there watching today, and I hope you are, today's online audience is Group 3. Group 1, to my left. You are to keep a daily diary of your life. That's the assignment. Just bullet points, really. We don't need all the commentary. Just the main things. Like, I crushed my opponents at pickleball today. Or, I had dinner with my neighbors. I went shopping at such and such a store. I painted the guest bedroom. You're just keeping record of what you've been doing with your life. Details aren't required, just the basics. And I'm not making this assignment, but don't you think that you could do that for a month or so? If you could, say amen. I didn't say if you wanted to. You could do that, right? All right. Now, Group 2. Your assignment is similar. You will keep a daily diary as well. You will keep a list of everything in your day that hurts, angers, bothers, or otherwise disturbs you. I was cut off in traffic. Karen made ugly remarks on my social media posts. It's always Karen. My neighbor was unappreciative of how I parked my car. I watched the 5 o'clock news. I don't know, whatever. Every snub, every offense, everything that got under your skin, everything that made you mad or negatively affected you. Write it down. Could you do that for a few weeks? Oh, yes. Yes, you could. And now Group 3, those viewing and watching or listening online. You also will keep, which camera am I at, Garrett? This one. You will also keep an online diary. And you will keep a list of the things that you are grateful for. The things that are a blessing in your life. Like, I had the greatest cup of coffee this morning while watching the birds at the feeder. I talked to my granddaughter on the phone and heard about her school play. I received a text message from an old friend, one I haven't spoken to in years. I enjoyed the most wonderful fresh dinner, and my beloved who prepared it for me did so out of goodness and grace. I spent a day with my best friends. Every good and perfect gift, to quote the Epistle of James from the New Testament, every tiny serendipity, every little smile, every Thanksgiving. And I know the folks online could do that for a few weeks as well. Now, at the end of those weeks, what would we discover about these 3 different control groups? I think you're onto it already. Group 1, those who record the facts, just the facts, ma'am, about their daily lives. That group would be an attitude and perspective just about where you are right now. It really wouldn't have that much impact on you. It might help you later recall some memories. It might help you spur some recall, but it doesn't do a lot for you to boost your mood. It just is. Group 2, I am really sorry for you. I'm sorry for what it would do to you to be subjected to this exercise. Researchers have determined that those who keep a record of wrongs, to quote Paul from the New Testament, are more angry, more irritable, more easily offended, have higher blood pressure, more digestive problems, and overall are far more pessimistic than the average person on the street. Keeping a diary of offenses is simply bad for you. But there's good news. Group 3, that celestial collection of watchers and listeners out there in the ether. Those who keep a gratitude diary or a thanksgiving journal are more at peace with themselves and the world than others. Over time, much longer than just weeks, they have less cardiovascular problems, lower hypertension, and lower cancer risks. They are far more optimistic than the general population. All in all, they appear to be happier, healthier, and more hopeful by far than either groups 1 or group 2. And that's the talk for the day. Be grateful. Say thank you. Recognize that life is a gift. As Bob Marley sang and the psalmist wrote, give thanks and praises. Thank God for the opportunities you have been blessed with to simply live in this glorious world that God has made. And another song comes to mind, especially for this Baptist born and bred kid. Count your blessings. Name them one by one. Shockingly, it was not written by a Baptist. It was written by a Wesleyan. John Oatman Jr. owned a New Jersey insurance agency, was a licensed lay preacher in the United Methodist Church. But his greatest skill was writing sacred songs. Remember, we call these psalms in the Old Testament. Oh, and he wanted to be a singer. His dad was a tremendous singer, but he was terrible. He couldn't carry a tune, but he could turn a phrase. Slide if you would, Garrett. When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed. When you are discouraged, thinking all is lost. Count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy that you are called to bear? Count your many blessings. Every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. So amid the conflict, whether great or small, do not be discouraged. God is over all. Count your many blessings. Angels will attend. Help and comfort give you to your journey's end. Count your blessings. Name them one by one. Count your many blessings. Just see what God has done. I know it's old school. I know it's not some new shiny praise and worship song, but it holds up. It's bulletproof. It's as good as the day the psalmist said it, as good as the day Oatman wrote it, as good as the days I heard my grandmother singing it in the kitchen when she was preparing dinner, and it's as good and good for you as anything can be. Count your blessings. Be grateful. Stay thankful. It will better your life. As Bob Marley said, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and it will be all right.